everyone, this is Jack Frost with your monthly update for the dollar index. Before we get into it, I want to say that I am currently doing Euro 4 times a week, where Jordan Marshall does a video for it at the end of each week. If that is something you're interested in, you can sign up for that analysis today using the link in the description below at pureelliottwave.com. Overall, for the dollar index, price has increased, supporting both Elliott Wave counts for the short term. Overall, downwards movement is expected to continue for the mid and long term. Elliott Wave first, technical analysis last. On the main weekly chart, we can see this downwards movement labeled the beginning of cycle wave C, currently within primary wave C, pulling price lower overall with a little bit of upwards movement for intermediate wave 2, which may find resistance at the upper edge of this Elliott channel. This Elliott channel drawn around the current primary degree movements from the start of primary wave A to the end of primary wave B, with a parallel copy on the end of primary wave A. When intermediate wave 2 is labeled complete, downwards movement is expected to resume for intermediate wave 3, and when price gets closer to the end of primary wave C, it may find support at the lower edge of this Elliott channel. Primary wave C has a target calculated at 84.7, the 1.618 Fibonacci ratio of primary wave A, and if price continues above the end of primary wave B, it cannot move above the start of cycle wave C at 114.78. And on the main daily chart, we can see more detail for the downwards movement labeled intermediate wave 1 and the upwards movement labeled intermediate wave 2. Intermediate wave 1 subdividing as a complete impulse, with intermediate wave 2 currently an incomplete single zigzag. This single zigzag is expected to be within minor wave C, and within that, minute wave 3. An Elliott channel is drawn around the minor degree movements from the start of minor wave A to the end of minor wave B, with a parallel copy on the end of minor wave A. The end of minor wave C and intermediate wave 2 may find resistance at the upper edge of this channel. Intermediate wave 2 pulling price higher with a target calculated at 104.78, the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio of intermediate wave 1, and if it continues past this target, it cannot move above the start of intermediate wave 1 at 107.35. On the alternate weekly chart, price continues down overall for the beginning of cycle wave A within super cycle wave Y. Intermediate waves 1 and 2 labeled complete here within primary wave 1. Currently expecting overlapping first and second waves at intermediate and minor degrees, before overlapping third waves at minor and intermediate degrees to then pull price lower. Minor wave 2 pulling price higher with a target calculated at 104.73, the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio of minor wave 1. Though if minor wave 2 continues above this target, it cannot move above the start of minor wave 1 at 107.35. If price does move above this point, then intermediate wave 2 may be incomplete, and at that point it cannot move above the start of intermediate wave 1 at 114.78. A base channel is drawn around the current intermediate degree movements from the start of intermediate wave 1 to the end of intermediate wave 2, with a parallel copy on the end of intermediate wave 1. Minor wave 2 expected to find resistance at the upper edge of this channel, corresponding well with the target calculated here, before price then moves further, continuing the bearish movement. On the technical weekly chart, price has increased after just failing to find support at 100 with a little Morningstar candlestick pattern. ADX now declines, showing no clear trend, with RSI neutral and stochastics neutral and increasing, having entered oversold where price needs support here. Overall, the model of stochastics in support and resistance expects an upward swing to continue towards resistance at 107. And on the technical daily chart, we can see more detail for this new upwards movement. We can see a death cross here where the 50-day moving average moves below the 200-day moving average, giving a strong bearish signal. Price has continued up since then towards resistance at 104.25. ADX now declines, showing no clear trend, with RSI neutral and stochastics overbought. As stochastics is oversold where price nears resistance at 104.25, this time frame expects the upward swing may continue towards this point. That's all for me with your monthly update for the dollar index. Remember, if you are interested in a daily euro analysis with a video at the end of each week, you can sign up for that today at pureelliottwave.com using the link in the description below. Hope everyone has a good weekend.